There's a crisis in this country that we have to address, and it's a crisis with our young men and our boys. Mural rates are down, college attendance is down, while suicide rates and drug use is up.
This crisis has become a crisis not just for men and boys, but for women and girls as well.
Well, more young men are experiencing loneliness and disconnection. Now there's a statewide effort to support their well-being by building relationships with mentors in the community.
Josh Fryday is California's Chief Service Officer. He's here to discuss the California Men's Service Challenge. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
You know, I have an 11-year-old stepson in my household. We talk a lot about this. I think for so many years, we have done such a great job with young women and girls saying you can be whatever you want to be. And I know even my 11-year-old says he sometimes feels pretty lost. Can you talk about this new order and kind of what it means when it comes to supporting boys and young men?
Yes, and I have 3 boys as well. And what we're seeing right now in our society is unfortunately a crisis of our young men and our boys, a crisis of connection, a crisis of loneliness that is leading to some really sobering outcomes where suicide right now, young men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than young women. We're seeing a mental health crisis with our young men. We're also seeing outcomes where young men are going to college at a lesser rate and they're more likely to be unemployed in California. So we are trying to solve this crisis by creating connection and purpose and community for young men in our state. And one of the ways we're doing it is through this challenge to call on 10,000 young men to step up and serve and play a valuable role in their communities.
Yeah, this is so great. Mentorship makes such a huge difference. This service challenge, as you said, calls on 10,000 men. So what kind of mentors and leaders are you looking for in the community? What kind of time commitment does it require? Because I'm sure there are a lot of men interested in this who are just busy.
But the message we want to send is very clear from the state of California, which is we need you. And there's a really important role and purpose that we need you to have in your community as a mentor, where you could be tutoring and working in our schools. You could be a big brother with one of our programs like Big Brother, Big Sister. You can also be a youth coach where you're helping with youth sports and providing that guidance and that leadership for other young men in your community. And you could be a teacher. We need many more men in the classroom. So there's a variety of ways to answer this call to serve and be part of this challenge. And you can do it either with one of our paid opportunities we have, or you could do it as a volunteer a few hours a week. So there's really an opportunity for everybody, and there's a chance for people to dive in right now and be part of this really important mission.
You know, it is so interesting. I think the conversation for so long has been about supporting young women and girls, like I said before. And when we go back and look, my husband and I were saying how when we were kids, our teachers were predominantly men. And now I look at the schools and there aren't really any men. There's a huge need for men specifically in those teaching roles.
There absolutely are. We see that. We know that. It's one of the reasons also with our California Service Corps, we're really encouraging our young men who are part of that now to go into teaching because it's so important. And I think we want to be clear about something that the governor talks about as well, which is we want to continue to send that message to our young girls for you to continue to succeed and thrive. But this is not zero sum. And we need to now focus on the fact that we have a whole generation of young men who feel untethered. They feel disconnected. They don't feel like they often belong. We have sobering stats like 1 in 4 young men right now under the age of 30 don't feel like they have close friends. And the question is right now, how do we build connection? How do we build that sense of community so people are less likely to commit violence? They're less likely to be unemployed. And that's what we're trying to solve right now with this challenge.
Yeah, much needed and a win-win for everyone involved.
I want to say, like, I'm very grateful to have had all the opportunities I have. And like you said, want to continue to support young women and girls. But I do think getting boys into the conversation can just help everybody.
Right. So. Okay, so Josh, how do we get more information for anyone who wants to apply? Where do they go?
It's very easy. Go to mensservicechallenge.com, sign up, and you can find an opportunity where you can get paid to serve your community. You can also find an opportunity to be a volunteer. So we have really chances for everyone to be involved. And our hope is that young men will step up and they'll find purpose and they'll find meaning, they'll find friends, and they'll find a pathway for their life and their career through this challenge.
It does go back to community, doesn't it? Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.